Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, I got another rumor that John Heald from Carnival Cruise Line had to squash today. I want to talk to you about the proposal in New York City to have shore power for the cruise line, and again how the politicians decided to do this all wrong. Good idea, just bad way to handle it. Well, of course it is. They're politicians. And then, of course, we have that couple who had an accident in Mexico. And I got to reiterate this because it's so important, the details on this one and how much trouble they're in for something that a ton of cruisers do. And it's such a warning, and I have to let you know. Plus, I know the anticipation is out there. Tonight on the cruise was the Yes No game show, and everyone wants to know how badly I did. So the first story is John Heald had to put another squash to one of these rumors that have come out there from Facebook pages and supposing fan pages that people with a CPAP machine would no longer be able to get distilled water on board. Carnival's going to stop providing distilled water, and you're not even going to be allowed to bring it on the ship. Okay. Carnival come out? No, we still have distilled water on the ships, and you can still bring it on board when you get on the ship if you didn't want to buy this distilled water on the ship. So again, I don't know where these rumors come from, but I think it's some pages out there that just want to try and cause trouble and cause, Carnival problems. I think Carnival has enough problems sometimes when things happen, like the fights on board and they have to tell people that they're going to be stricter on board. They have enough issues that they don't need other people making up false rumors and false stories. And I hate that. Every cruise line goes through some stuff that people don't like, but don't make up stories just to try and bring somebody down like a cruise line. I don't understand. Next, we have two politicians in New York City who have come out with a bill that they want the shore power at the terminals, and no cruise ship should be allowed in if they don't hook up to shore power because they're choking our citizens to death. They're already feeling the effects. They're struggling to breathe. Buddy, I've been in New York City, and trust me, the cruise ships aren't the only thing bringing you pollution in your city. Your traffic jams are miles long with trucks all over the place and cars all over the place. Yet you're complaining about cruise ships. Now, don't get me wrong. I am all aboard for shore power. But of course, here's how a politician does it. They come up with this idea. They say, you know what? This will make a headline. It'll make a splash and I'll make a name for myself. As opposed to, hey, let me contact the cruise lines and let me contact the cruise ports and say, hey, how can I help you get this done? Wouldn't that be a novel way to do things? Imagine offering to help get things done that you think is an environmentally friendly thing to do. Imagine saying, hey, let us get this done together, let's work together, and I'll help the best I can. That would be great, isn't it? Instead, they hold a press conference, they put a little kid up there who says he's having a trouble breathing, they come out and say that all their citizens are struggling to breathe, and one statement was so dumb, is we weren't asked about cruise ships, if we agree to cruise ships in our area. We're not receiving money directly from the cruise lines. Well, MSC alone brings in over $100 million a year to New York City. That's just MSC alone. There's a lot more cruise lines bringing in money. That's not to mention the amount of tourists that visit the city and spend days and days in the city at the hotels, the restaurants, and buying things and going to Broadway, etc., etc., etc. But let's all let's leave all that alone and just go with this. First of all, he never checked with the cruise ports to even see if it's possible to hook up power. Never even did that yet. Never even reached out to a cruise port. In fact, out of the 3 cruise ports out of New York City, only one is capable of shore power right now. And then do they bring up a power thing of, hey, how do we pay for this? No, of course not. They don't have any plan. They don't have any idea. They don't know what they're doing. They just want to get the headline out there because it's easy to say that, let's stop the cruise ships from running their engines because we can't stop the tractor trailers from doing it. We can't stop the buses from doing it. We can't stop the cars from doing it because no one will listen to us. But we can say that about the cruise ships. We can't say it about the big shipping container ships and all that coming into the port. Can't say it about them, but we can say it about those cruise ships because it's easy. It's an easy target. But did one of them come up with a single idea or plan of how to do it? No, they just said they're going to outlaw the cruise lines, and we weren't asked about it. Well, buddy, they've been sailing out of New York for decades upon decades upon decades, long before you were even born. So I don't think they have to wait till you're born to ask your permission if they can have cruise ships in New York City. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard somebody say, and I'm not afraid to say it. And this isn't political. I don't even know which side these politicians are on. But I would really love, instead of coming out for those headlines and grabbing the big headline, I'm going to be the environmentally friendly guy and I'm going to call out the cruise lines. How about just reaching out to them and saying, how can I help you get this done? Wouldn't that have been amazing? But God forbid a politician would actually try and do something without a headline. Yeah, I'm going to call you out. Next, we have that couple that was on vacation. It's a closed-loop Carnival vacation. And they rented a scooter in Cozumel. Now, if you've ever driven around Cozumel, it's a really dangerous place to drive. They just drive like crazy there. And when you get on a scooter, you're taking your life in your own hands, especially if you're not like on a guided tour where they have a section of road where they know they can go on that's relatively safe. So people rent these scooters, and sure enough, they got involved in a hit-and-run accident. One so severe they really require really heavy surgery. Another one has a broken arm and some problems with their foot. And, well, guess what? It was a short cruise. They left. It's a closed loop, so they don't have any passports, and they didn't have any insurance. And now their bills are $10,000, $20,000. One of them has insurance, but the other one doesn't. And they're there without passports besides that. And the hospital won't release the person who had to have surgery because they're not going to release them until they're sure that the insurance company is going to pay them. So they're really stuck in a really hard place right now. And it's just a warning to everybody. How many times now have I said, never, ever travel without travel insurance? Ever. 2-day cruise, 3-day cruise, 4-day cruise, it does not matter. You need to have insurance for just such a thing as this. They were not on a shore excursion from the cruise line. They rented these scooters from a third party. Somebody ran into them. It wasn't them. Somebody ran into them, caused the accident, and then drove away. There's not even anybody to go after for the money. There's nobody to sue in this Mexico hit-and-run accident. So no insurance, and then stuck there with no passports besides. Now Carnival has reached out to this, and they have been in contact with the couple. They're trying to help them out, but it's really not Carnival's job, right? They don't have insurance. They didn't book insurance. They didn't bring their passports, and it's always recommended to do so. So I have to bring that story up because I say it over and over and over again to people. Please bring have insurance, even if it's a short cruise. Have some kind of medical insurance. And also, get a passport. It's not that expensive when you consider how long you can have your passport and how much problems you could have if you don't have one if something like this happens. Okay, finally we have, hey Don, it's the Yes No Game Show. As you know, I've only won once in my entire time of doing the Yes No Game Show. In fact, my worst showing was 11 seconds. I lasted only 11 seconds. Can't believe it. But I have tried. I do my best. Once I got to 2 minutes and 45 seconds and still knocked myself out by going just a little further in my conversation than I should have. But how did I do tonight? Well, let me just show you this. I won the Yes No game show for the second time in my life now. Here's the champagne bottle to prove it. And I also had about 900 cameras on me when I was doing it, so there's going to be lots of video proof out there. I'll try and get somebody to give me a copy of that, and I'll put it up on my Just On channel if you want to see how, lucky I was at doing it. I really came close to blowing it. At one point I said, and I caught myself right before I said, oh. I just said, but I caught myself. So lucky for me, it was very close, and they were very nice to me. I even had staff members showing up to watch me try and do this show. I was a little. I'll explain it all when I do it on my the Yes No game show. If I get the video, I'll put it up on Just On. But there's a whole story behind it too, of what happened during the show, because it's kind of funny, but I felt really bad during the show. So try and keep an eye out for my Just On Yes No show. If you haven't subscribed to Just On, why not head over there, click on that button to subscribe as well. I talk about cruising all the time on there, and I talk about tips and tricks and side stories and things that I don't put on the news channel. So I hope maybe some of you might decide to check it out, because I'm trying to get to the 40,000 mark, and I'm only 200 away. So I'm getting very, very close on that channel. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.